Good morning, all of you, and welcome back to the today's session. In this session, we are going to discuss about softening of hard water. This is also we can called external treatment of hard water. And the contents of today's session: softening of hard water by two different process like geolite process and ion exchange process. And the outcomes of today's session, student will able to understand about softening of hard water by two different method like geolite process and ion exchange process. So these two are called external treatment of hard water. So I already told that point previously. Let us entering into the first process, that is geolite process. So geolite process is also called as permuted process. So here what actually happened is we take a geolite. By using that geolite, we are going to purifying the water, or we are going to treatment of the water in a external way. So that is called as geolite process. So generally the geolite is hydrated sodium aluminum silicate. This is having a capability that is exchanging reversibly its sodium ions for a hardness producing ion in the water. You all of you know what are the ions which causes for hardness, that is calcium and magnesium. So these calcium and magnesium ions are here exchanging reversibly by the sodium ions present in the geolite. So this is the structure of geolite. So this is having a micropores. So and having a sodium ions. These are exchanging reversibly for hardness producing ions in the water. The general chemical formula of geolite is Na2O dot Al2O3 dot XSiO2 dot YH2O. This is the general formula of geolite. So where X is equal to 2 to 10 or Y is equal to 2 to 6. So this is the general representation of the geolite Na2Ze, where Ze means geolite. The shortcut of geolite, the total phenomena or total chemical structure of geolite, we can represent like this. Okay, and let us entering into how this process going on and types of geolite. Generally, the geolites are two types. The first one is natural geolite having non-porous structure. The best example is natrolite. And the second one is synthetic geolite. Synthetic means we are preparing in laboratory. So those are having porous, and gel structure. So they are prepared by heating together china clay and feldspar and soda ash. By combining china clay, feldspar and soda ash, by heating together, we can prepare synthetic geolite. So these geolite possess the higher exchange capacity under unit than the natural geolite. So synthetic geolites are having high capacity exchanging of hardness of water present in the uh, what we are going to external treatment. So then the natural geolite. And so how the process is going on. So you all of you know the temporary hardness of water is caused by bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium, and the permanent hardness of water is caused by chlorides and sulfates of calcium and magnesium. So this is how the calcium ions exchanged by the geolite bed. So this is the formula of Na2Ze. This is the formula of zeolite, and plus it is exchanged with the temporary hardness, that is calcium bicarbonate. So here the calcium ions are replaced by the sodium ion, so that calcium Ze plus, that means calcium zeolite plus sodium bicarbonate is formed. Likewise, magnesium bicarbonate is formed. Sorry, sodium bicarbonate formed and magnesium zeolite is formed. So this is the process how the temporary hardness removed by the zeolite bed. And you take a hardness, a permanent hardness causing salts like calcium chlorides and magnesium chloride, how these are removed by the zeolite process, like so the same way. So sodium zeolite react with the calcium chloride to forms calcium zeolite plus NaCl. Okay, right? The same, these two process are observing in a schematic diagram. So this is the main tank which we placed the zeolite bed, and in other hand we supply the hard water. So when the hard water entering into the tank, it passes through a zeolite bed. So what are the hardness causing ions like calcium and magnesium? Those are exchanged by the zeolite, so that the water which out comes from the zeolite bed is hardness free water, that is called as soft water. So if you go on like this, in some time the zeolite bed may be exhausted. That means what? All the sodium ions present in the zeolite may be exchanged by the hardness causing ions present in the hard water. So if the process going on like this, the zeolite bed may be exhausted. So in order to regenerate this zeolite bed, we need to go for recharge. So that is called as regeneration of the zeolite. Regeneration of the zeolite is done by the brain solution, that is 10% NaCl solution. So the end of the reaction, what we get like calcium zeolite or magnesium zeolite. So the calcium zeolite or magnesium zeolite are again treated with a sodium chloride solution. So when we treated a brain solution, that is sodium chloride solution, again the zeolite is replacing by the sodium ions, that is called reclaimed of the zeolite and found by the calcium chloride. We can maybe washed out this calcium chloride. So this is the process of regeneration of the zeolite. Again we regenerate of the zeolite bed, and again we place it into the tanker, and again we go for the zeolite process. So this is the zeolite process, how we are going to treat it of hard water, and limitations of this some zeolite process. So why? Because if you carefully observe, the zeolite bed exchange only calcium and magnesium ions, not other ions like such as magnesium ions or iron ions. So if suppose the hard water maybe contains Mn plus 2 ions or Fe2 plus ions, maybe not exchanged by the zeolite. So that is the one exemption. And followed by, if suppose any acidic water present in acidic water may be going to treat by using zeolite bed, sometimes it may be going to neutralize. Why? Because the soda, I mean what is neutralize with soda before admitting water plant, since the acid with the hydrolyze with the SiO2 and form salicylic acid. That means we already know the formula of zeolite bed is Na2O dot Al2O3 dot X SiO2 dot YH2. So this SiO2 react with the acid, may be form salicylic acid. So that is the one of the uh, uh, limitation. So we need to uh, observe before going to geolite process whether water is acidic free or not. And advantages. So the residual hardness of water is about almost all 10 ppm, so that we can reduce hardness of water up to 10 ppm. Equipment is small and easy to handle. So time is required for softening of water in a small. So here there is one advantage, that is no sludges is formed. Why? Because the entire process is going on exchanging process. So calcium and magnesium are exchanged by the sodium ions present in the geolite. So geolite can be regenerated easily by the brain solution, that is 10% NaCl solution. So it can be removed without any modification of the process. That's all about geolite process. And the next one is ion exchange process. So it is completely different from geolite process. So ion exchange resins are insoluble, cross-linking long chain organic polymer with a micropore structure, and the functional groups are attached to the chains, is responsible for the ion exchanges. So here what actually happened is, the hardness causing agents like calcium bicarbonate or magnesium carbonate, or the permanent hardness causing by calcium chloride or magnesium chloride. So if you carefully observe this complex, these are having two types of ions, that is cation and anion. So here these two ions like cations and anions. So the cation may be removed by the cation exchanger, and the anion may be removed by the anion exchanger. So that is called as ion exchange process. So here in ion exchanger, we take it as a insoluble cross-linking long chain organic polymers. So that are having a functional groups attached to the responsible for ion exchange. So what are the functional groups are attached to those insoluble cross-linking long chain organic polymer? Those are responsible for the exchanging of cations and anions, which are caused by the hardness. So the first one is acidic functional groups. So these are having exchange with H plus ions like COO or SO3H, etc. And the basic functional group, these are having exchanging with OH minus ions. So that is called ammonia or hydrogen. Next one. So the classification of resins. So this is a cation exchanger, so which is having a long chain porous structure, and this is a RH. Cation exchanger resin, that is called represently RH plus, strongly acidic nature. So that may be SO3 OH plus or COOH plus. So exchange resin. This is the first one, and the second one is anion exchanger. So anion exchanger is strongly basic nature, and R4 and N plus OH minus ions, that is a weakly basic. This is strong basic and weak basic. This is the structure of a general anion exchanger. Previously we observed cation exchanger, and this is one anion exchanger. So if you place these two in different compartments and process through water like this, if you can carefully observe in this schematic diagram. So this is the compartment of cation exchanger, and the second one is anion exchanger. So in this first one we placed a cation exchanger. So here the hard water enters from here. So when the hard water enters into the first compartment, here we place a cation exchanger, so that the water which outcome from the first compartment, so it removed or free from cations. Why? Because we placed it here cation exchanger, and it is entering into the second compartment where the anion exchanger we placed it. So here the water which outcome from the first compartment are having only anions. So these anions are exchanged by the second compartment in by the anion exchanger. So after that we can get a pure soft water, right? So this is the process how the ion exchange process is going on. Okay, the first one is cation exchanger and the second one is anion exchanger. So we can observe in a um, schematic way or reaction way. So you take this 2RH plus, this is called as cation exchanger, plus calcium, that is hard water, I mean the calcium ion present in the hard water, and we can replace by these calcium ions by the H plus ions. For example, here you can observe R2Ca 2 plus plus 2H plus. Likewise, magnesium ions. So in this reaction, we can clearly observe the calcium ions are replaced by the H plus ion. Okay, so this is called as cation. Likewise, anion. So here in the first compartment we can observe the H plus ions. In the second compartment we can observe OH minus ions. The H plus ions and OH minus ions combine together to form H2O, right? So this is the end of the process what we can get the water. So same way what we observed in a zeolite process, like a zeolite bed may be exhausted if the process is going on like this. Likewise here ion exchange process also may be going on. Likewise the exchanges may be exhausted, so in order to that we need to regenerate of the ion exchangers. So the first one, ion exchangers can be um, regenerated by acid dilute HCl or H2SO4, and anion exchanger can be regenerated by the dilute NaOH. Why? Because the end of the first cation exchanger we can get R2Ca2 plus. So R2Ca plus means here the R means long chain organic polymer, that is a exchanger. So that are replaced by the H plus ions to calcium ion. So again these calcium ions we can replace by the H plus ion, so that we can get a RH plus, that is actually cation exchanger. Likewise ROH. Okay, so this is the regeneration of the ion exchanger, like both the cation exchanger and anion exchanger. The advantages is the process can be used to softening highly acidic and alkaline water, that is more advantages. This water produce very low hardness like 1 to 2 ppm, so that is excellent water we can get. So the treated water, this is method can be used in high pressure and boilers. So these are the methods we can use in high pressure and boil. Why? Because they having very little bit of hardness. So main disadvantages is the setup cost, and it is very costly, and the chemicals, and the water should not be turbidity, turbidity level should not be more than 10 ppm. So if 10 ppm above water, maybe we are going to use ion exchange process, it's a very high process take place. So that we need to observe the exchange process, the water should be less than 10 ppm. That 10 ppm water may be uh, turned to 1 to 2 ppm. Okay, this is about ion exchange process. Thank you, one and all.